Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for everything business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Felena Hanson on the line, and she's the founder over at Hera Hub. Felena, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much.
All right, so I'm really excited to get into today's topic. I know you have a new product that you've launched, the virtual assistant program, and I'm excited to get into it because I use them. I know a lot of other people that use them, and they've completely changed what I do in my business and media distribution. So I know they're going to be very helpful for many of the clients you help. But before we get into that, I do want to get a little bit further into Hera Hub to give the listeners a little bit more about your background and what you're doing.
Absolutely. So Hera Hub is a co-working space and business accelerator. Founded the company almost 9 years ago and was built specifically for the needs of female entrepreneurs, although we are not exclusive to women. We say female focused. They are beautiful spaces, what we call spa-inspired spaces. So you walk in and there's soft music playing and aromatherapy candles and
oh my gosh, I like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Female inspired, I love it.
Yeah, it's a very zen yet very productive workspace. They don't look like a lot of the other kind of industrial style co-working spaces. They're much more, warm and welcoming. Everybody who walks in says really the same thing. It feels good in here, basically. So we're a strong community. We've got 8 locations, 7 here in the U.S., 1 in Sweden. And the spaces are really focused on mentoring, education. We host a ton of workshops and events. So it's really community first and space second. And it's been great to be in this world of co-working for 9 years now. I've seen a lot, and a lot of concepts kind of come and go in that period of time.
What are the locations? What areas? You said, I believe you said 8 here or 7 here?
7 here, yeah. So a little more, here on the West Coast. So I'm San Diego. That's where the company was founded back in 2011. So we have 3 locations in San Diego, 1 up in Riverside County, Orange County, Phoenix, Arizona, Washington, D.C., and then 1 international location in Sweden.
Well, and I'm from Michigan, by the way, so I can say this, but of course it would come out of the West Coast. It feels good. It's nice. You go in there. It's a spa workplace, or it's not a spa, but I'm sorry, it has a feel of a nice spa, but of course, be a real productive area. But I'm like, oh, of course, that sounds amazing. What a great idea. I love it. So let's switch it up a bit. I do want to get into the virtual assistant services. I got pretty excited when you said you're offering them, and I see how you've kind of integrated it with your overall community, and I'm like, it's so amazing. Like, I held off on my personal story. I held off on doing that for years, and it was just one of those things I never got around to, and this and that, and immediately when I did that, I freed up so much time, and now even now I have an entire team. I mean, I have my people here, but I still have, and then I have a whole team, and I couldn't function without them on the personal level, probably either. Like, I mean, in terms of calendar and stuff like that, couldn't do it. So that's my personal experience. So let's talk a little bit more about why you started the service and what you expect from it.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you, as an entrepreneur, plugging away, working way more than I probably should in building a business and scaling. And there were some things that needed to be done in the business that, I've talented people on my team that I pay them, I think, relatively well. And some of the, kind of the more remedial tasks like checking all our web forms and make sure they're syncing, to all the software platforms once a month. Yeah. Some of the social listening and responding and making sure. I mean, we have so many different social channels that we're, not only obviously posting on, but even more importantly, should be listening on. So some of those things, to pay somebody who's got a really amazing background and a college degree to do is, not cost effective for every business. So I started to look offshore Learned a ton. I have had my personal assistant, my virtual assistant, Mary Rose, out of the Philippines for 4.5 years. And about a year ago, a little over a year ago, I kept having our members and then folks I just know in the community come to me and say, hey, I know you're, outsourcing some of this. What are you doing? How does it work? I've tried it and it hasn't worked for me. I hear that all of the time. I'm sure you hear that too, Adam. Someone will say, well, I tried that and it didn't work. The secret of all of this is organization. And so many entrepreneurs are not, they're kind of a one-man band. They don't have things documented. They don't know how to communicate to other team members, screencast, documentation. And so a big part of what we do in our, what we call Her Assistance program is help entrepreneurs figure all of that out, because we're not going to match them with somebody and have it fail. We need to make sure that they've got bulletproof processes and systems down so they can easily work with somebody offshore. So that's a big part of what we do, as well as, of course, matching them with folks who have been vetted.
I love it. And I love when people say that. I've heard some of the same things you said, and it's ridiculous. I don't care. I'll say it. You didn't say it. I'll say it. It's ridiculous. You tried it and it didn't work. Have you ever hired an employee and it didn't work? Like, honestly,
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? Why do you think,
Yeah.
like, I get systems, I get all of that, but I mean, yeah, let me see. So every single employee you've ever hired, it's worked. No, that's impossible. No business of any size has that happen. Of course that some things aren't going to work, but the question is it worth figuring it out, which you've done for them, thankfully. But, and the other thing that I like to clear up for, because and this is kind of some things that I've dealt with from other people that say things like that, it didn't work. And as they think is sometimes it's a trade-off, as in the quality of work's not going to be as good. And this is the key here. I've found over the years the quality of work is better for the task. And the reason why it's better is it's common sense, specialization. If you have somebody working on a task for years, they're going to be better than you said college degree. College degree doesn't matter if somebody's specializing in something and they're doing it for a year or two. They're better than your college degree or anything else. Like, they just are because they're doing it. They live that world. They live that platform. They're telling you the updates. They're bought in on the business. If you take the time to build that company culture with them, it's a game changer. Like, it's a complete game changer. They will give you some of my best design ideas, some of the best ideas in the podcast and in my company have come from the virtual assistants that I use. Like, they're awesome. So I'm an advocate. As you can see, I'm an advocate. I'm like, no. I'm like, no way, no how. Like, we have a ball. Like, I encourage people, like, don't think of them as this, like, outsourced thing. They're an extension of your company. They are your company, because the more you'll find yourself over time relying more and more, and depending on what type of business you're in, I mean, they just become this amazing part of your company and culture that fits right in, I found over time.
Yeah, and, I'm in California. We had a law passed at the beginning of 2020 called AB5 that made it much more difficult for small businesses to hire independent contractors. It's caused a huge uproar, and other states are talking about implementing the same thing. And so if I'm going to hire somebody as an assistant here in California, I basically can't. If they're doing anything that's integral to my business, they have to be an employee. They cannot be a contractor. And that's, at least 30% more expensive, as well as, for a lot of small business owners, feels risky, being not only in charge of your own livelihood, but now somebody else's if you're a small business. So this is a game changer for a lot of businesses. And again, very doable, can definitely change your business, but you've got to approach it from the right perspective and path.
Yeah, and you are so politically correct. And I love that about you, but I'm not, and I'm like, it's ridiculous. That's ridiculous too. Like, Felena, it makes it impossible. Why would you can't hire an assistant? You can't. They cut out so many. It's why businesses are leaving. We're not going to go on that one right now. But that being said, it makes it impossible. It's like, why would you do that? But it is what it is. Not today's show. So, Felena, that being said, obviously I'm sold. I love it. I know the people that you're helping are going to love it, especially that you figured it out for them. Congratulations to everybody that works with Felena on this one, because she did all the legwork for you. You're so lucky. I had to go out there and brave it and figure it all out myself. So, Felena, if somebody's listening and they want to follow up and they want to learn more about Hera Hub and also about the new assistant services, what's the best way for them to connect with you or with your company?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website is just simply HERAHUB as in boy.com, Hera being the Greek goddess of women. So herahub.com, and the assistant services can be found simply at /assistant.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Felena, it's been awesome having you on the show today. I'm very happy for what you're doing over at Hera Hub, of course, but also about the new services that many are going to benefit from that you've created. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, don't forget to leave us some comments there on this video. I'd love to keep the conversation going and what you thought. And Felena, thanks again for coming on the show.